Today we're going to show you how to cook up some beef short ribs on the barbecue. To start with, I'm going to trim off the fat and the silver side from the top, and we'll be flipping it over to check the membrane underneath. So to start with, it's important to have a really sharp butcher's knife. Doesn't need to be a crazy long one, but just make sure it's really sharp. So to start with, it's time to cut off all of this fat on the top to expose the meat and the marbling underneath. So now all the fat and the silver skin is removed from the top. I'm going to flip it over and have a look at the membrane underneath on the rib side. So the membrane underneath, it comes sort of in two layers. Ours just has one remaining. The butcher's removed the top really smooth, tough bit of membrane. That just leaves this kind of more fatty, grainy looking membrane underneath. So yours might come like this from the butcher as well. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to score in between each of the ribs. There's 3 ribs in here, so I make 2 score marks. And then on the side with the bone sticking out, I'm going to remove some of the attaching fibre between the membrane and the bone, so that as it cooks, the bone will become more exposed and become a bit like a handle. So now it's time to apply the rub. So I'm going to put on a decent amount of olive oil to help the rub stick. So for the rub, we're just going to use the same one that we've been using in our other videos, which you can check out there. So now that the rub's applied, we're ready to put it on the barbecue. As always, for our low and slow cooks, we're using the snake method. You can check out a past video we've done on that, which we'll link in the top right hand corner.
Once the Weber reached 130 degrees, it was time to put the ribs on. We placed the rib rack with the fattest side towards the charcoal. On our charcoal snake today, we've also placed some hickory wood chips to add that extra flavour. We placed the meat probe in the thicker part of the meat away from the bone. Today we're looking to reach an internal temperature of 94 degrees. Now that the ribs have been cooking for about 2 hours, it's time to take a look and give it a spritz with some water and vinegar. That colour looks great. We're just using a basting brush to flick some water and vinegar over, but if you have a spray bottle, that works great too. So it's really good to see that we're getting some pushback from the bone. That'll make a really nice handle to eat the ribs with later. So the ribs have been on there for about 6 hours now. The internal temperature is reading 94 degrees. Really happy with the nice dark bark that's formed on there. It's looking great. Now I'm just going to check how it's going for tenderness. It's really soft. It's probing like butter. That's exactly what we want to see. That's great. Next, we're going to take it inside, wrap it up and have it rest. Okay, so we're going to transfer the rack of ribs into this aluminium tray before we wrap it up in some more foil. We're choosing to use this tray because other times we've wrapped it up just in foil, but meat juice has dripped out the bottom, so this should help. For the next step, we're going to wrap up the ribs in an extra layer, which will be this beach towel. It really helps trap all of the heat in. Then, once it's wrapped up in the beach towel, we're going to pop it inside an esky where it's going to rest for about an hour. While the ribs are resting, it's a good time to put together your side dishes. Today we'll be making some sweet potatoes roasted up in the oven, and we've also got some kimchi to go along with that as well. The ribs have now been resting for an hour and a half, so now it's time to cut it up and see how it tastes. Okay, time to see how this tastes. That's awesome. Really rich. Good level of smoke in there without being overpowering. As you can see, it's just dripping with juice. Super happy. It's coming off super easily. That's nothing but bone. So super happy with how that bark turned out. Nice and crunchy. You can see the pink smoke ring there. And yeah, lots of moisture. Taking into account the 6 hours of cooking and 1 hour of resting, this was a 7-hour cook all up. So it's a great one to do on a cold weekend like we did. With the leftovers from this, we decided to make a delicious beef stroganoff, which was by far the best beef stroganoff I think we've ever made. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to see more videos like this one.